Good evening, welcome back to Rosin Court. My name is Maureen Butler, and this evening we have Cohen Braithwaite-Kilcoyne. Okay. Now I know that half of you have come for the raffle, so all of you here, you're in the raffle, all of you at home, if you join in the chat or if you donate during the programme, then you'll be put in the raffle and you could win one of Cohen's CDs, which he's going to sell to me in a minute. I haven't told him that yet. Or a Who Gives a Crap toilet roll. Yeah, very, very popular choice. Okay, we're also going to have John Beetham doing a floor song as well, which is brilliant. Don't get too enthusiastic, because I'm going to do one first. Okay. Right, so this is part of my relentless campaign to get Cohen to actually appreciate Leonard Cohen. Because I think if you're named after somebody, you should actually like one of their songs at least.
All right, before you start.
Shall I? The sea so deep and blind, the sun, the wild regret, the club, the wheel, the mind. Oh love, aren't you tired yet? The club, the wheel, the mind. Oh love, aren't you tired yet? The blood, the soil, the faith, these words you can't forget. Your vow, your holy place. Oh love, aren't you tired yet? The blood, the soil, the faith. Oh love, aren't you tired yet? A cross on every hill, a star, a minaret, so many graves to fill. Oh love, aren't you tired yet? So many graves to fill. Oh love, aren't you tired yet? The sea so deep and blind, where still the sun must set, and time itself unwind. Oh love, aren't you tired yet? And time itself unwind. Oh love, aren't you tired yet? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'd just like to welcome John Beetham. Twisted. I think it's amazing that he used uses the same guitar as me without changing the strap.
It's impressive. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Cheating again with lyrics. This is a John Martin song. Yeah. The Army and the Navy, they never will agree till all the men and all the boys are gone from this country. Don't you go, don't you go, my son. Don't you go, don't you go, my son. The proud and the powerful, in whose hands we lie, they never will be pleasure to all the people die. Don't you go, don't you go, my son. Don't you go, don't you go, my son. The mastery and the misery they call the arts of war. These men who triumph over me, as they have done before. Don't you go, don't you go, my son. Don't you go, don't you go, my son. The Army and the Navy, they never would agree till all the men and all the boys are gone from this country. Don't you go, don't you go, my son. Oh, don't you go, don't you go, my son. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That was gorgeous. Ah, the dog arrived. Good. Yeah, we were waiting for that. Could we please introduce onto the stage Cohen Braithwaite-Kilcoyne?
Thank you so much. Well, as I was setting up,
earlier today, I was doing a little mental tally, and I think this is the 4th time I've been here at Roslin Court over the past 4 years. Aren't you sick of me yet? Well, thanks for joining me again. And this is a very special 4th appearance because I'm here touring my new solo album, and I'll be doing loads of stuff off the new album tonight and talking all about the songs. But I'll start with a couple of non-album tracks. This is a song, it's one of a body of songs which is usually called, referred to as calling on songs, which are sort of traditional welcoming songs that are sung usually at the start of dance performances, usually sword dances. And this one was noted down from a man called Thomas Wood, who in the mid-19th century, he used to sing this song for the sword dancers in the villages around Harrogate in Yorkshire. But by the time the song was noted down from Mr. Wood in the late 19th century, he said he no longer associated himself with the current generation of sword dancers as they don't dress properly, they don't dance properly, and they are nothing but bad and idle company. So if you want to be my bad and idle company for this evening, then feel free to join in with this one. The last line of every verse repeats. This is just called the Sword Dancer's Song. You noble spectators, wherever you be, your attention I beg and I crave. All my desire, you make this small room an abundance of pastimes we'll have. An abundance of pastimes we'll have. Well, the first to come in is a ranting young man, a man of great learning and fame. He ventured his life for the sake of a wife. Jean Delamere is his name. Jean Delamere is his name. And the next to come in is a noble brave knight. He conquers wherever he goes. Swears by his enemies he'll never be controlled. His name is young William Rose. Name is young William Rose. And the next is a tailor of old. He can stitch up a hole in the dark. There's never an apprentice in famed London town can find any faults with his work. Find any faults with his work. And the next is a merchant that sails on the sea. Much money he's made on the main. He's been in foreign countries this world to explore. Now he's returned back again. Now he's returned back again. And the last to come in is a songster of old. Let's hear what he has for to sing. He's been among music these 40 long years and drunk of the elegant spring. Drunk of the elegant spring. Well, you noble spectators, wherever you be, your attention I beg and I crave. All my desire, you make this small room an abundance of pastimes we'll have. An abundance of pastimes we'll have. Thank you very much. That was the Sword Dancer's song. And yeah, I'll do something on Melodian number 2 of the night. And this is quite a special instrument for me. It doesn't come out all that often, but it's all over the new solo album, so I've been bringing it out on this tour. And well, the story behind it, I got an email about 5 years ago, probably almost to the day, it was the end of 2019, from a man called Emmanuel Paracel, who's a melodeon maker based in central France, and makes all sorts of crazy and quirky squeeze boxes that he designs, and some more conventional ones, and he's a great musician too. And he in his email, he essentially invited me to spend a week with him in his workshop, and we built this melodeon together. So I always used to say, you know, I'm going to play a tune on a melodeon that I made myself. I hope it doesn't fall apart. And then I was doing a gig on this tour up in Grimsby, and I picked up this melodeon and I made that little joke. And then this button here sprang off and flew out into the audience. And then a bloke that was sitting in the front row, he says, "Oh, Cohen, don't worry. Bring it into my shop tomorrow and we'll get it fixed." And I said, "Oh, are you a melodeon repairer?" He says, No, I run the local cobbler's shop." So I took it in there and we managed to sort of put together a solution using some shoe fastening tape and a bit of wood glue. And it's held so far, but basically this whole bit is mainly a warning to those people in the front row. Because I'm not sure if my public liability insurance covers flying melodeon buttons. So you have been warned. We'll see. These are a couple of country dance tunes called Henry Cave's Country Dance and Hunt the Squirrel. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Henry Cave's Country Dance and Hunt the Squirrel, and they appear in a book that I was invited to act as musical editor for a few years ago. The book's called A Secret Stream, and it's now actually run into 2 volumes, and it focuses on songs and tunes collected from Romany Gypsy and Traveller singers and musicians, and sort of focusing on the huge contribution to that those communities have made to the folk song traditions in this country. And the book was spearheaded by a friend of mine, a great friend and a great musician and singer, a man called Nick Dow. And actually, that's the first book that myself and Nick and the rest of the team collaborated on. Was a book called Southern Songster. And the focus of that was songs that were collected on the south coast of England, mostly in Hampshire and Dorset, by Henry and Robert Hammond and George Gardner. And we've got George Gardner to thank for this next song. Gardner was one of those, those Edwardian folk song collectors that was going out into the field and noting down the songs that were sung by the ordinary people. And like a lot of the collectors of that period, he had to navigate all sorts of challenges, being a middle-class gentleman, largely going out and collecting songs from working-class singers and sort of navigating the challenges related to that. And, the strange situation that being someone, knocking on the doors of strangers and asking them to sing could lead him into. And there was one particular story relating to George Gardner that I particularly like. He'd got wind that there was a particularly good singer in the Basingstoke area. And, well, the thing you need to know about George Gardner is that he was quite a striking and imposing-looking man. Some might say quite a scary-looking man. He was quite tall and slender, and he'd usually go out dressed all in black, black shoes, black trousers, black top. And he had this wild, untamed, curly hair. So as you can imagine, absolutely terrifying. And so he went and he knocked on this woman's door and asked her to sing some songs for him. And she saw this terrifying, imposing, curly-haired man stood in front of him. And she was convinced that he was a murderer, using this folk song thing as a front. So naturally, she went and retreated back into her house. But George remembered that he'd just been to the confectionery shop and he had a bag of peppermints in his pocket. So he offered the woman a peppermint, and offering the woman a peppermint was enough to persuade her that he wasn't a murderer and was just interested in the old songs. And a very unlikely friendship resulted, and she sang him 2 or 3 really nice songs that he noted down and that are now preserved for us in the archives to enjoy to this day. So the moral of that story is that you should always accept sweets from strangers. Well, this is one of the many songs that George Gardner took down in Hampshire. This one he got from a travelling man called James Ray, and it's a beautiful old narrative. It's quite, very sad ballad called Come Make My Bed. Come make my bed, my pretty fair maid. Turn down the milk-white sheets, for I might lie down and never rise again. Then I shall be in my everlasting sleep. Go send for the little footman boy. That is my own sister's son. For he might run 3 miles in half an hour, and go and tell my dear Lord for to come. Well, the first 3 miles this little boy walked. The next 3 miles he's run, until he came up to the broad water side. He fell down on his breast and he swam. He swam until he came up to the high castle gate, just as they were sitting down to meat. He said, had you have known the news I have to tell, not a bit more of bread than you would eat. Well, what news, my little footman boy? What news have you brought, my son? I've come to tell you your true love, she lies ill and might die before you come. So come saddle me up, my bonny brown steed, saddle her up so neat, that I might have a kiss from her cherry blooming lips, ere she lay in her everlasting sleep. 3 times he's walked around the brim of her hat, 3 times round the soles of her feet, 3 times he's kissed off her cherry blooming lips, ere she lay in her everlasting sleep. The lady, she's died on the Sunday morning, just at the rising sun. The Lord, he's died on the Monday morning, just as the prayers began. The lady they buried in the churchyard so deep, and the Lord they've buried in the choir. Out of the lady's breast there grew a dancing rose, out of the Lord's a sweet briar. They grew and they grew up so very, very tall, scarcely could they grow up any higher. They twisted and they twined into a true lover's knot. The red rose around the briar, sweet briar. The red rose around the briar. Thank you very much. That was Come Make My Bed. Well, we'll get on to material from the new album. So, the new album is sort of it's a thematic album. I've made my home here on the English folk scene, singing songs like that and playing tunes like the ones you heard earlier. For the past 17 or 18 years, you know, I've been calling this my home. But much of my musical upbringing, because my mom's family are from the Caribbean, a lot of my musical upbringing was with Caribbean music and Black American music. And the latest album is exploring the ways in which those black musical traditions of the Americas interact with the English folk song traditions, mostly exploring the body of songs that started off life in England and then made their way over to the Americas with British travellers and colonisers and sailors, etc., and were taken on by black singers in the Americas and adopted as their own. And when they adopted these songs, they sort of infused them with something of their own musical language and their own sensibilities. And the resulting songs are these, fascinating hybrids that are, often tell the same narratives, the same stories as the English traditional songs, but in quite a unique way, quite different to the English antecedents. And when I was researching the album, my starting point was I looked at the huge body of Caribbean short stories, because quite a lot of those are told through a mixture of spoken prose and sung verse. And one of the stories I came across was a traditional Jamaican story, which is called Tacoma and the Witch Girl, where the titular character Tacoma, he tries to woo the affections of the witch girl, who is a sort of a witch doctor. And to try and woo her, he sings her this song, which I'll sing you now, which, even though it's got a very Caribbean feel to it, it's very much based on and descended from the classic English folk song, The Keys of Canterbury, which some of you may well know. Of course, local relevance here in Margate. It tells the same story, but I think in a uniquely Caribbean way. And it's the opening track of the album. I'll start you with it. It's called Tacoma's Song. I call it that after the character in the story. And feel free to join me on it. There's a repeating line at the end of every verse, so help yourself on that. This is Tacoma's Song.
Make you have the present of a nice gold watch, to wear it in the street, to let the people see. If you'll only be my true lover, if you'll only be my true lover. No, 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 not for all your gold watch. I will never be your true lover. I will never be your true lover. I will make you have the present of a nice gold chain, to wear it in the streets, to let the people see. If you'll only be my true lover, if you'll only be my true lover. No, 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 not for all your gold chain. I will never be your true lover. I will never be your true lover. I will make you have the present of a nice coach and six, to ride about all day and let the people see. If you'll only be my true lover, if you'll only be my true lover. No, 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 not your coach nor your six. I will never be your true lover. I will never be your true lover. Make you have the present of houses and land, to walk about all day and let the people see. If you'll only be my true lover, if you'll only be my true lover. No, 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 not your house nor your land. I will never be your true lover. I will never be your true lover. I will make you have the present of the key to my heart. Married we will be, and never, never part. If you'll only be my true lover, if you'll only be my true lover. Yes, 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 for the key to your heart. I will always be your true lover. I will always be your father.
I'm just going to interrupt for 1 minute to talk to the people at home and those in Bilbao, lucky thing, to say if you're possibly in a position to contribute to this concert, we would really love that, and we'd put you in the raffle just to show how much we love you. And just to suggest what you might like to contribute. Cohen is a famous vegan, and if you go to the local shop, Graingrocer, you can buy a bar of chocolate there, a posh chocolate to be fair, for around about £5. So I suggest that you contribute, something around that, the equivalent of a posh bar of chocolate for the concert. What do you think?
That works for me.
Yeah.
Well, you can send chocolate in the post to me if you want as well.
No,
That works.
No, not at all. No. Now, there's a lovely merch table here with CDs and books and badges. So if people aren't actually in the room, the people who aren't in the room, how can they get a hold of your CDs and books and badges?
CDs and books and badges. So the CDs and books are on my website on cohenbk.com. You can get through to my shop on there, and then you can also download the albums on Bandcamp, and the small merch, the badges and whatnot are on the Bandcamp page as well.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the song, before the commercial break, that was that was Tacoma's song, and Tacoma is quite a common character in Caribbean short stories. He's sort of a strong, handsome, young everyman type character, and he appears in a lot of the stories. But far and away, the most common character in Caribbean short stories is Anansi the Spider. And Anansi's a bit of a rogue, he's a little bit of a trickster, but he's also a musician, and I adopted one of his musical catchphrases, "Play Up the Music," as the title for the new album. And Anansi, he sings in a lot of the stories, and he plays various instruments. Most often he's seen playing a fiddle. And there's a couple of stories where he plays a fife, and I've also seen one story where he plays a concertina. Of course, with all those limbs, he has the advantage of being able to play 4 at the same time. So I've got my competition cut out for me there. And Anansi uses his musical abilities to overcome various obstacles in the stories. And my favourite, by far, example of that is there's one story where he's caught in a battle of wits with a wicked king. And Anansi sings a song that is so unpleasant and foul-sounding that the king dies out of shock. And actually, if you stick around, I'll be singing that in part 2. So... Anyway, a lot of those stories have this spirit of Anansi using his brain and his wit rather than brute strength to overcome obstacles that are sort of larger than him. And I think you can see some of that spirit coming through in the English folk songs that Caribbean singers chose to adopt, like this one. This is an old highwayman ballad. It's just called The Highway Robber.
It's of a farmer in this country. To the market his daughter would go. He thought that no danger would befall her, for his daughter had been there before. On the way she met a highway robber, who robbed the rich to help the oppressed. He said, "Deliver your money or your clothing, or else you will die in distress. No money, no money, no money. My clothing's no value to you." So he stripped that fair damsel stark naked. He gave her his bridle to hold. Well, she put both her feet in the stirrups. She gave the most horse-like command, and she rode over hills and over valleys, crying, "Catch me, bold rogue, if you can." Well, the wild rogue, he soon followed after, until she came to her dear father's farm. "Well, dear father, I've been in such danger, but the wild rogue, he's done me no harm." He said, "Put that grey mare in the stable, and lay the white sheet on the floor." And they gave all the money to some stranger. They all lived happy evermore.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, as I say, I'm on tour at the moment promoting the new album, and this is gig number, what is it? It's gig number 10 of 14, so we've broken the back, we're on the homeward straight. And last night I was at Cecil Sharp House in London, which was amazing to be bringing these songs to the home of English folk. And this is a song that was collected by Cecil Sharp. During the period of the First World War, Cecil Sharp was too old for active service and too infirm, and so he dedicated those years to travelling across the eastern states of America, along with his colleague Maud Carpleys, looking for those old songs and old ballads that were taken over to America with the earliest settlers, and several centuries on were still being sung by their descendants. And over the course of their trips, they managed to take down a total of 1,500 songs together, quite an amazing haul. And of those, they took down 3 songs from 2 different African-American women, women that had, as I say, adopted the old songs of the sort of the British descendants, but really made them their own. And one of those women was called Cinder Walker, and she sang them this quite amazing and unique version of a classic English supernatural ballad called Sweet William and Lady Margaret.
Sweet William, he rose one May morning to rest himself in blue. "Come tell unto me that long, long love that's between Lady Margaret and you. I know nothing of Lady Margaret's love, though I know she don't love me. But tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, Lady Margaret I will go see." Lady Margaret was sitting in a high window, combing her long yellow hair. She saw Sweet William and his new wedded bride as they come a-riding there. Sit down, she threw her ivory comb, back she tied her hair, and then sank down from a high window and never was seen back there. When day it was gone and night come on, all were fast asleep. Lady Margaret, she rose with the tears in her eye to stand at William's feet. Said, "How do you like your bed, master? How do you like your sheets? How do you like that new wedded bride that lies in your arms asleep?" "Very well do I like my bed," he said. "Oh, well, I like my sheets, but nothing I love half as much as the girl at my bed feet." Sweet William, he called his merry men all, 1 by 2 by 3. Said I will away to Margaret's bower with the leave of my lady. When he came to fair Margaret's bower, he's told low on the pin there was none so ready as her 7 brothers to arise and bid him in. Well, where is Lady Margaret? How does she do? Is she in the hall, or is she in her chamber bright among the ladies? Oh no, she's not in her chamber bright, nor is she in the hall, but she's lying in her cold coffin with a pale face turned to the wall. Unwind and unwind a cold pale face, her cheeks unbound to see. She is the one I've always loved. She stole my heart from me 3 times. He's kissed her lily white hand, 3 times kissed her breast, 7 times he's kissed her cold pale cheeks, and then did go to rest.
Thank you very much. Oh. Just double check something. I got a new phone this week, and I haven't been able to manage to get a new phone case, so you'll have to excuse my makeshift solution. Just double checking what's on the list. Oh yeah, that works. Cool. I reckon if we're squeezing in the raffle before the end, I'll do one, and then we'll do the raffle, and then I'll do one to finish. That works? Cool. So, learning that song and adding it to my repertoire, and learning all about Sharp's 2 different African-American women. That one who sang that song, as I said, was called Cinda Walker, and also a second woman called Aunt Mariah Toombs. Learning about them and their stories made me wonder if there are any other examples of English folk song collectors of that period taking down songs from black singers. And I came across one other example in the form of a hymn tune called Canaan Bright Canaan that was taken down by the Leeds folk song collector Frank Kidson from a black man on the streets of Leeds in the year 1891. And in an article, Frank Kidson detailed the events leading up to taking down this song. He said he came across the man completely by chance on an evening on a dark back street in Leeds, and that the man was singing this hymn tune, Canaan Bright Canaan, in a robust manner with official indifference. I'm sure you've noticed that's the style I've been going for this evening as well. It's nice to keep up these traditions. Anyway, Frank Kidson only took down the melody that the man was singing, just the tune, not any words. So we can't be sure exactly what the man was singing. But I was really interested in this tune, not only as an interesting melody, an interesting piece of music, but also an interesting piece of history. And so I wanted to do something with it. So one of my great loves alongside English folk music is Elizabethan music, English Elizabethan music. And one of the things that a lot of the great Elizabethan composers did was they would take folk song melodies and write sets of variations based on them. And so inspired by that, I put together this set of variations based on that Canaan Bright Canaan melody. And here they are.
Wow, that was just beautiful, wasn't it? I love that. Thank you. Would you like to pull out?
I absolutely can.
While you're doing that, the song before reminded me of Sid Kipper's Fatty Groves. Do you know that one? How do you like my feather bed, and how do you like my sheets, and how do you like my curtains that I got in the sale last week? Yay!
Very good.
Okay, who is it? Ah, Sue Robson. Not only are you in Bilbao, but you've won his CD. That's just not right. Yeah. David Milliken. David Milliken, well done. You've won the loo roll. That's lovely. Okay. Right, one more song from you, please. Thank you. Only partially open.
I remember a few years ago, a housemate and I were looking at buying a box of that Who Gives a Crap stuff off Amazon. And they said, "Oh, we can get a case of it for £20, or they'd do it second hand for a tenner." I think we'll go for the full price one. Well, yes, I'll leave you with this one for the first half. And I've got, as has been said, I've got the shop set up and I've got copies of the new album. And actually, although I'm touring it, and this is gig number 10, the album isn't officially being released until the 4th of October, tomorrow. So those there are illegal copies. So don't tell anyone. But make sure you tell all your friends, please. Well, I got that and my previous albums and the books, songbooks, and also a concertina tuition book if there are any concertina enthusiasts in the house. Never mind. Maybe online, maybe on the chat. Well, yeah, have a browse, books, CDs, other bits and pieces, badges, postcards, stickers. I'll leave you with one more from the album. This is, when I was doing research for the album, the song I was coming across versions of by far and away the most often was that classic English folk song story of a last-minute escape from the gallows, usually called The Prickle Eye Bush. It was wildly popular throughout the Caribbean and also with black singers in America. And this is one of the American versions, and it has the rather colourful title of Hangman Slack on the Line, and the even more colourful chorus, which I hope you'll join me on. The prickle holly bush, it pricks and it pricks on my heart full sore, and if ever I get out of the prickle holly bush, I never will get in it anymore.
Hangman, hangman, slack on the line a while. I think I see my mother coming with money to pay me fine. Well, mother, did you bring me money to pay me fine? Or have you come here to see me die, all on the hangman's line? Well, no, my dear, I've not brought you money to pay you fine. I've just come here to see you die, all on the hangman's line. Oh, the prickle holly bush, it pricks and it pricks on me heart full sore. And if ever I get out of the prickle holly bush, I never will get in it anymore. Hangman, slack on the line a while. I think I see my sister coming with money to pay me fine. Well, sister, did you bring me money to pay me fine? Or have you come here to see me die, all on the hangman's line? Well, yes, my dear, I've not brought you money to pay you fine. I've just come here to see you die, all on the hangman's line. Oh, the prickle holly bush, it pricks and it pricks on me heart full sore. And if ever I get out of the prickle holly bush, I never will get in it anymore. Hangman, slack on the line a while. I think I see my true love coming with money to pay me fine. True love, did you bring me money? Money to pay me fine? Or have you come here to see me die? All on the hangman's line. Well, yes, my dear, I brought you money. Money to pay you fine. How could I bear to see you die? All on the hangman's line. Oh, the prickle holly bush, it pricks and it pricks. Pricks on me heart full sore. And if ever I get out of the prickle holly bush, I never will get in it anymore.
Cohen Braithwaite-Kilcoyne. So, that's the end of the first half. So you people, you can just go off and do something else now. People in Bilbao, no doubt, are going off and doing tapas or something. Really annoying. I'd like to thank, for the people at home, I'd like to thank the team. We've got Nick, we've got Roger, we've got John, we've got Phil, we've got G, and in Galashiels, we've got Lizzie posting on the interwebby thing, and in her pinny at the bar, we have Una! Yay! Pardon? She's very bossy, isn't she? Yes, thank you. Next week we have Ty Watling, who is absolutely wonderful. Ty is such a talented guitarist and beautiful singer, and he writes really, really lovely songs. And he will be back in January as one of the Quivering Poets as well, which is rather good. Yes. And after that, we've got Angeline Morrison and Clark Camilleri, which will be absolutely fantastic. If you want to go to that, please grab your tickets tonight because it's very nearly sold out. Then we've got Lizzie Hardingham on the 24th and Gilmore and Roberts on Halloween night, which will be quite interesting because this house is quite well done up for Halloween. So it will be an interesting evening in terms of trick or treat. Thank you, Cohen.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, people at home, for watching, and we'll see you next week. My name's Morag Butler, and this is Rosalind Court, and we'll see you soon. Bye.